let's go straight to the United States. What's been going on for the last 2-3 months? They announced, I think, yesterday or the day before, that the officer has resigned.
Darren Wilson, yes.
Which is no shock, even though he was not convicted of a crime. He's been convicted for a life of obscurity. He's a social pariah. He's going to have to disappear. He won't be able to live there.
No, you would think that the next distress call that Darren Wilson was sent out in Ferguson, Missouri, he would not be received warmly by the community. I think that would be a fair statement.
Where does he go? Where does he go?
Yeah,
I think they have to give him a new identity. It might be difficult, but otherwise, where does he go? He can't go anywhere.
Yeah, he might.
He's in prison. He's
something.
He could end up being on the Brandon police force. Nobody would know the difference, hopefully. But anywhere in the U.S., somebody's going to track him, I can tell you that, and you know who it is. They're going to be from Ferguson, and they'll have tracks on him. They're going to get this guy, and that's too bad.
And I can assure you that talk shows will be lining up right now to get this guy on the air. There'll be a movie about his life, a book about his life. Don't think like this guy's going to be unemployed.
He gave an interview, I think the day after the grand jury handed down their verdict.
Yeah, it was George Stephanopoulos, or not, Stephanopoulos, excuse me.
Yeah, Stephanopoulos.
Yeah.
And he was quite. You could tell that he's terrorized. I mean, he's at the stage now where he's become a prisoner of his own life. He's a social pariah. The media has really put this story under a microscope. Plus, with what's been going on and what happened on Black Friday, there, unbelievable. And it's still very strong. Hopefully, somebody will come and try to find a middle ground for the real protesters, not the morons who are looting and using this as a way to steal.
I don't understand. I don't understand how you can be innocent until you're proven guilty, and he's been proven to be innocent, but now he's guilty. Like, in other words, the laws of the land have deemed him to be innocent, but the court of public opinion has deemed him to be guilty. So what's the point of even having a court process?
I think 50% in my modest view, Perry, is the relationship between the police and some of the minorities in the United States has been strained for many years, number one. And I think also that the press, the media really put a lot of wood in the fire on this story, and they were never in the middle of trying to mediate what happened in Ferguson, the media. I think that they just continued perpetuating the anger and the resentment of what the protesters felt that there was injustice, that the officer didn't do his job.
But you and I talk a lot, and you often refer to the media. I'm going to tell you, this wasn't the media. This is social media. People have the opportunity now to express themselves on Twitter, whatever.
I'm not talking social media. I'm talking newspapers.
I'm talking a newspaper did not.
And mainstream reporting. Nancy Grace. Pontificator, bag of wind, a lot of the stuff that happened on CNN and a lot of the newspapers really exacerbated the situation. I think they put a lot of salt in the wounds, and it was very one-sided in the way it was pushed. I'm not taking any side here. I'm playing in the middle. I understand the parents. It's unthinkable to lose a son, especially that way, and it doesn't matter. The protesters, no matter what happens, there's two coroner reports, and they're all identical.
Well, you know what? I feel real empathy for our law enforcement. I don't care what color you are, black, blue, green, white. You're now. If I'm a police officer, and I know a lot of guys in the local police force here, and are you inhibiting them from doing their job? I mean, once you pull your gun and you feel threatened, if it's a black cop shooting a white person,
but Tony,
it's becoming obviously a real social issue. If I'm a cop, I don't know what the answer is.
Tony,
I mean, it's impeding your judgment. It's impeding your it's a life or death situation. I mean, I just feel bad for the police officer and law enforcement.
Well, I think the question is whether it really was a life or death situation. I mean, he shot an unarmed kid that was 35 feet away that had his hands up. I don't read life or death into that.
Hold on. Carlin, you follow this. You're a bright, intelligent human being. This guy was walking down the street with his buddy, and he was the suspect in a grocery store robbery of cigars.
Okay, it wasn't even...
Let me finish, and then you can see how innocent he was. And then the policeman spotted the two of them, and he asked them, because they were walking down the middle of the street, cars going on both sides, he asked them to walk on the sidewalk. Michael Brown proceeded to walk over to his car and grab him, whatever way, I don't know, but he tried to grab the gun, and the gun went off twice. And then he walked away with a bit of a grazed wound. And he was asked to stop. And he didn't. And then he finally did, after he'd taken a couple. And then he decided he was going to charge the policeman.
No, I don't agree with a lot of this.
How innocent is that little boy? I have a lot of empathy for the mom and the dad, and I just don't understand why this young man did not obey the law. Up until the point
listen, there's many versions of this story. One of the versions, the witnesses,
he was just disregarding the law and said, "To hell with you, Whitey. I am not going to listen to you. Get out of your car, and I'll beat the shit out of you." This is not a one-way street.
Guys, listen to me. There's many versions of the story. So the eyewitness accounts, it doesn't matter what ethnic group they were, some did account exactly like what you said, and also this was a very large man. The man that the police officer shot was a large man, larger than him. And
he was. I don't know how tall he was, Frank, but they said he tipped the Toledos at 295. And so he must have been 6'2", 6'3", but he wasn't paying any attention to anybody until he got the one in the head.
So the story is that the allegation is that they went inside a convenience store, they roughed up the owner, they took whatever they wanted, they didn't pay, they took off. The store owner called the police.
The store owner did not call the police, Frank.
He happened to be the police officer happened to be close after finishing another call, and then he spotted them. That's the story. But either way, I mean, we can fucking debate this, and I don't want to rehash something that's been going on in the media for months now. I'm just saying that somebody has to, whether it's Barack Obama or whether it's the governor, somebody's got to try to find some sort of resolution here and put a stop to this. And, going back to what you said, Tony, I'm a very, very big fan of the police, the people in uniform who put their lives on the line every single day, especially in some of the bad areas of urban sprawl. But there's police officers, and we had a situation here, a horrific, an infamous situation here last year when a police officer shot to death, unloaded his clip into a very young male in a bus who was really not threatening anybody. In fact, I believe wholeheartedly that the young man believed that he was just pissing off the cops, and he would have never imagined that the cop was going to shoot him. There was nobody in the bus. They had the place surrounded, and they shot him to death. He shot him to death. And then after they unloaded a clip into this guy, they went in and they tasered him, which I still, up till to this day, have no clue, other than conspiracy theory that they wanted to say that they tried to taser him first. But with everybody having a phone, even birds and dogs, everybody's got a cell phone with a camera. You really can't be covered in the shroud of stupidity, and you can't be shrouded by bullshit or lies anymore, because somebody will show you the truth. And
when you disregard the law, Frank, you put your life in the hands of someone else, and both of these young men did. And unfortunately, they both paid the ultimate price. So there's a lesson for all of us. If the officer asks you to get out of the car, you get out of the goddamn car. Otherwise, you're asking for trouble, and who knows where it's going to end.
Well, the officers are trained.
We all have sympathy
Lethal force.
for the people that protect
The officers
us,
are
and
trained to.
we all are very unimpressed by people who think they can overrule the law. They want anarchy. That's what they want. They want nobody to tell them what to do and when to do it. We'll rob what we want. Get out of my way. I can only imagine. I can only imagine.
Well, but Bill, there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. If you're in a situation, whether you believe you're in the right or whether you're in the wrong, and there's a police officer there, you're going to have to follow. You're going to have to play that game and be quiet, and be respectful and diffuse the situation. Because if you try to increase the situation and you put the officer in a position where he's going to have to make a call, a judgment call, they've been trained to use lethal force if needed.
If life is, if he's threatened, and
they're shooting.
You know what? The way I look at it, Frank, and this is retrospective analysis, there might have been a better way. I'm not sure what it was. This guy wasn't listening to him. He might have been better off if he'd let the big guy come to him and beat the shit out of him. Now, who knows who would have died then? But this guy, after having been mangled in his car, and when I say mangled, he was grabbed and he was shoved around. That should have been the end of him right there. Right there. But he let him go, and he asked him to stop, and he asked him to stop again. And nothing was stopping this young man. He ruled the world for almost 3.5 minutes.
Well, two things. Many people have been affected by this situation, and the police officer has lost his life. He's physically alive.
No, Michael Brown lost his life,
but he's lost his freedom. He's lost his job. He's lost his where he lives, his home, and everything. He's in hiding.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, that's too bad, but that's a
horrific.
price you pay when you follow the rules of your profession.
And
if your life is in danger, use lethal force. That's called a shot to the head.
From 35 feet away, if Darren Wilson, if he was feeling that much fear as he claims he was, why get out of the car and pursue Michael Brown from 35 feet away? Why not A, stay in the car, follow him up, call back up? There's all sorts of things that could have been done.
He's a cop, and he's supposed to do what he's
a cop. He's not, Chuck Norris, and that's what a lot of these guys get in that trap of thinking. And I doubt his story for the simple reason that he says, I was assaulted in the car, I feared for my life, I was punched repeatedly by this huge man who then turned into a cheetah and ran away. Look at his supposed injuries. He's got a tiny red bump on his cheek, okay? If you get hit that hard by someone that size, it leaves more of a mark than that. That is not the sign of a broken orbital bone. As someone who gets punched regularly, voluntarily, mind you, but he gets punched regularly, and a basic understanding of human physics will tell you that is not the case.
But what right would the guy have to assault a police officer in any level of magnitude? What right did the civilian have to try to beat up the police officer and punch him?
I'm not saying he was right in that instance. I'm not sure what happened there because the story still just doesn't make sense to me.
But he's a suspect in a robbery.
Yes.
So the police officer is obviously following up on a suspect. And I don't, again, a pack of cigarillos, where do you draw the line, right? A pack of cigarillos, next time it's an armed robbery, but he's doing his job, right? And things got out of control and out of hand, but he's been trained. He's gone to police college. He spent 6 months, a year to train to handle these incidences. And hey, I mean, at the end of the day, there's emotion and whatnot, but it wasn't a guy who was just walking down the street holding hands with his girlfriend and that was it. He was a suspect in a robbery and he was following up, and things went out of control, and suspect initiated it.